Hello, it's Darren from Girls Plants. It's the 22nd of September and I'm making another video about our wormery. So I've explained the wormery in a previous video about how a wormery works, how it gives you a liquid feed and it will give you compost. But I tend to obviously empty the wormery every 2 years, so it's now due. I tend to do it in autumn when the worms are more dormant, you know, sort of slowing down. So what I've done today is I've basically taken it apart. So go in here, so this is what I mean about the liquid. You know, we put a 1 litre bottle there, we turn the tap, there's not really much there, just a little bit drip inlet, and this is going to give us a liquid feed. 1 litre of this to 4 litres of water will give you a decent feed to feed your plants. So let's turn the tap off. So we have taken it to pieces, and now that it's all the way down there, there's a tiny little bit of compost in the bottom, and then you can probably just see there in the corner that there is a black membrane. Underneath that membrane is some large gravel chippings, granite chippings. That's where all the liquid would end up as all this biodegrades and the worms do their business of digesting all the food waste we put in here. And then turning it into liquid for us. So as I've mentioned in my other video, the membrane has got to be above the tap, and then gravel from there down where the liquid would then sit. So as well as the liquid feed that we get out of this, every 2 years we'd dig it out and then we'd end up with some compost. So I'll show you what the top part was of the wormery, which is not really broken down yet, to the middle, to then where the compost is, where it's broken down completely. So that's what was on the top, as you can see, not broken down at all. And then this was sort of nearly halfway down, almost halfway to breaking down. And then the third bucket here is just before we hit the compost. You can see there's still a lot of fibres in this, like things like that, which are like potato skin, so it's not ready to be compost yet, but this is. Okay, so this is how much compost we've got after 2 years. So we don't really do it just for the compost, because, you know, 2 years worth of compost is hardly worth it. What's that? Probably only not quite a 40 litre bag of compost which you'd buy in a supermarket, but it's a bonus. That's how I look at it. The main thing we do is for the feed. So if we look at this in closeness, I mean, it's really a good compost, but you'll see things like this in here. So at the very beginning of our journey about 4 or 5 years ago of setting up a wormery, we read about it and we watched videos about it, and we was told that we could put eggshells in there. And what we found is that, you know, this was right at the bottom. So this is now 2 years old, this eggshell. As you can see, it's not really broken up. So we've stopped putting broken up eggshells into the wormery because it just takes too long to basically break down. So this compost we're going to now just put over our allotment, basically. So we're going to just tip it, and then we're just going to rake it in this area of the allotment here. So literally just tip it, empty it out, there it is. Now we'll rake that across the allotment and then just spread it thinly, where it will then just be a lovely compost for free, which will do the ground some good. And that is the compost done. So now we're just going to tip these into the wormery. Obviously the one which is most rotted at the bottom, then that one, and then the one that's on top. So that's emptying the wormery and getting your compost, and then restocking it ready for next year for the warmer weather, when the worms will become more active again. and start digesting all that food waste we put in there. So with the food waste, things you should not put in there, I would say eggshells now, because it takes a long time to actually break down. And definitely 100% nothing in the onion family, none in the citrus family, and I wouldn't put anything rhubarb related in there either. All this is very acidic, and the worms do not like the acidicness of rhubarb, lemons, oranges, etc, etc. There we are. So please like if you've liked the video, please subscribe if you feel you wish to, and I'll be making another video soon. Take care.